Well, the Lolly Shop in Beulah Park, as someone said the other day, an absolute sweet property, so excuse the pun. I have with me in the studio at the moment the Managing Director of TOOP+TOOP, Anthony Toop still. Anthony, some email questions for you. The first one is pretty topical for us.
Okay.
There's been an emergence or a suggestion that online bidding at auction is something that's coming onto the horizon. Did TOOP+TOOP plan to get into that space?
Look, we've been looking at that for 10 years. We haven't gone into that space because there's no big market advantage. So if we did online auctions without having the whole marketplace move with it, it wouldn't be trusted, so it's not going to actually add a lot of value. But for the auctioneers and appraisers or the Real Estate Institute to do it, fantastic. Absolutely has to happen. It will happen. No big panic for it to happen, but the sooner the better. And we'll be in there like a flash. But to be honest with you, we're putting our resources into things that directly impact on our clients in a positive way. Although I think the online auction will, it nothing like the impact that some of the other things we can do.
All right. Well, I know a little bit about some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, but is there anything that you'd like to sort of just leak out there and tell people what they should keep their eyes on in the near future in terms of innovation and that sort of thing?
Okay. Well, just very quickly, we've had a period where the market's been boom time, and in boom time markets, there's certain ways to sell property, and in the current climate, it's quite different. So suddenly databases and knowing who's operating, who's circulating, the buyers that are active, the sellers that are active, putting those two together in a very slick and efficient way becomes important again. Now, Virtual Agent 1, which we've got patents on in Australia and New Zealand, so it's our own software, it's patented. We've got Virtual Agent 2 being launched in September, October.
Yep.
It's in trial now. We've had the largest capital upgrade of our infrastructure ready for Virtual Agent 2. It's happening, as you know, at the moment. And we will basically have reinvented the way that we're selling property by early or mid-spring. And by that, we'll be able to identify very accurately, and that's everyone in the organisation, who is likely to buy a property, the percentage chance of them buying the property, and be able to target very accurately who's the most active buyer in that market for that property. And if theory works as it will in practice, we will be able to fast track sales and get the best prices because we get the best mix. Now, that sounds like a tall ask, but we've been doing this since 1998. Virtual Agent was introduced then. Virtual Agent 2 is taking on board all of the iPads, iPhones, high traffic, new devices, and reinvented it completely. And it is going to completely change the way that we are able to do business. So, as you know, we're in trials. It is a big job, costs a lot of money, but the clients, the customers are the ones that are going to win. So, now, that's why we've left auctions over for the whole industry to sort out, because realistically that's a bit more gimmicky unless everybody understands it and trusts it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think it's pretty awesome, and certainly in terms of being able to deliver something to clients, because at the end of the day they're what matters in our business, something that will reduce the time on market, reduce perhaps costs to the transaction, and potentially the stress, which we all perhaps forget about a little bit when we're talking about the thing in general, and really create a system that is awesome for the client, which is what it's all about.
The big thing is that every spring we try to come up with an innovation of some description that's not been seen before. On top of that, buyer matching virtual agent selling system, which is basically putting a property detail and a client's, putting them together, matching them accurately and bringing them together. So it's communication involved as well. What the other thing that we're doing, which is not going to be released right now, will be for spring. So hopefully by the 1st of September, being the first day of spring, you, because I won't be here, will be in a position to announce an initiative that really transcends what's currently being done, takes us into a new space, and the whole market will follow us. So
Excellent.
that'll be your job, Timmy.
All right, well, I'll certainly be looking forward to it because it's pretty exciting at the moment. So.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that you'd like to say something as well in a moment, but we've got a little package to farewell our good man Dan, who is behind the camera at the moment, isn't seen on camera, but he's heading off to do some bigger and better things, and I think we'd both like an invitation to the Oscars, I think, when he accepts his first award. So, Anthony, over to you. I'm sure you've got a couple of words to say as well.
Look, 2.5 years ago, roughly, we put together TOOP TV. Dan and Elise were the pioneers. They started together. Elise is going to be totally lost without Dan, I'm sure, but she'll get over it. But Dan's been offered this position that is nothing short of spectacular. I feel honoured that we've been part of that. And for that, Dan has promised, I hope, well, I've said he's promised, that we'll be in the front seat of his big hit movies. But very talented guy. A big thank you publicly to you, Dan. And what I can say to you, mate, is you've set a very high standard. The next guy that takes your place is going to have to go from that base and make that his base. I don't know how he's going to do it, but TOOP TV owes you a lot. We were, as far as I know, the first in the world to do this. You've pioneered it and you're now moving on. Well done, congratulations, and thank you.
Well, I've got to say, there is no better referee and reference for you now, Dan. A little snippet of video to take away with you. And thanks very much. Anthony, thank you very much for coming in and spending a little bit of time with us. Good luck in the next couple of weeks, and we will see you soon, no doubt.
Been my pleasure.
Now we're going to go and have a look at some of our hot properties. Well, that's the end of today's show, and don't forget, tonight we have our TOOP+TOOP CommBank Investment Property Seminar. It's at Golden Grove at 6:30 sharp. If you'd like to register, www.commbank.toop.com.au. On next week's show, we'll be looking at an iconic estate in Littlehampton, which has the best of both worlds. You just won't want to miss it. So we'll see you next week at 1 p.m, Wednesday, right here on TOOP TV. And now for some of our hot properties.